That's all you gotta do.
Or
Can't let you out of the course.
get a sticker. Get a sticker.
You know what? Can't let you out of the course. That's not.
That's what I said. But I'm trying to want to but I didn't realize it was gonna take another month or so. And if my car doesn't need to move.
Well, we have work. Because they don't want you to buy more cars.
No. Well, they might.
I don't want that.
Well, you can't, I can't order it until I buy any.
Well, that's not necessarily going to be that they buy one, they're going to get approved.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
In this resolution says, the new procedure, and when the new procedures are adopted by the board of directors, the owner will be so notified at that time when this car meets the requirements or not.
Jerry Childers.
Jerry Galvin. He's a attorney. He's not like that. I don't know. It's not. It's it is not like that. Somebody's told me the same thing.
Somebody just got sold out.
And that was what somebody said.
Well, okay.
Anyway,
It works.
his is not cut down. For instance, there's one line I'll cut down. There's another. Man, he's tough.
The other thing is speed.
I understand that, but then there's,
I know.
my car goes 9, 10 miles an hour. Runs 10 miles, 9, 10 miles an hour. And there's a speed.
No, Terry.
Where you got turned about us?
19. That's another city. It's no 9 or 10. That's all it
Good
is.
luck, Miss Lenora.
Oh,
That's right. I didn't see that. She responded back to me. 6:30.
oh,
It's like 10.
Thank you.
That's what it means.
There you go.
I've rented it, it's only 9 or 10, kind of waver between 9. Anyway, I'm gonna do it.
So she not?
Is that fine? Good.
You're not good for it.
I'm just talking about that. Yeah, I have to sneak out to do it.
Oh, about this
Zoom
is,
call and
about
then
this
come back in.
entertainment. Monthly entertainment. I thought that was for an executive
2
deal.
days.
uh,
I know, but she was at executive.
Switching. This car.
Great question.
Back.
yes.
And then when I got out,
Yes.
Well, they said they would.
License plates or app is just how you kind of get additional sound into the register. I've seen you go through there before.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious.
They said,
Yeah, they got a monthly.
Yeah.
I remember.
Look at all these. If I take one of our cards. No rock garden. Hey, how are you? So did I start? I liked your letter the other day. I was responding, I guess. All that is. Nobody knows. Yes, you're right up. Did you rest today?
Yeah. Yeah, we can go there and discuss it now. That's good.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get the meeting started now that it's 5:30. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to show up. And anyone here for their first meeting or maybe first meeting in a long time?
She's shaking her head.
You don't have to stand up, but can we have your name and how long you've been with us?
Kim Phillips, we've been here 3 years. 3 years.
Okay, nice to have you. Welcome. Okay, first item on the agenda, review of the minutes of July 28th meeting. Motion second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed, thank you. And now we'll turn it over to Bill for his general manager report.
Thank you. We've got 2 projects going on right now that require an engineer review. We've got the covered bridge at the main entrance, and then the retaining wall for the patio, for the pool patio at the pavilion. We did get some encouraging news, even though both do need attention. We did get encouraging news from the engineer. The pavilion, the retaining wall can be stabilized by bracing it on the pond side, and I sent out his drawings on that today. We still don't have a bid from Mad Bolts on either one. but we'll be able to do that. And then at the covered bridge, we'll be able the structural columns were found to be in good shape. So we need to replace the 2 lateral beams at the top. And again, we've got Apple's looking at that to see what that replacement's gonna be. And then they'll send over a bid and we can try to get comparable bids. The only other company that probably can do anything that scope would be Emery Sapp and Sons. So we'll try to get them to draft something up. Navelt seems to be out of line, but Navelt is who was recommended by both engineers, Jeff Shower and John Miller.
I think it'll take 1 day, 2 days.
2 days, 1 day to do the bridge work. Yeah, so we'll only have to bypass traffic for 1 day. That's what they think. As long as the saddle is nice and structurally sound on top of the column. So, we've had 40 days without meaningful rainfall. The effects are visible across the community. Many yards have gone dormant. Cedar Ridge, the failing irrigation system, has got most of those properties looking distressed. Fortunately, just recently, we've been able to get some traction with Ryan Lawn and Tree, and we've been making some progress on Cedar Ridge. We haven't been able to necessarily do that with Focal Point, other than keep things cut back. But with the irrigation system, we're starting to see more progress with Ryan Lawn and Tree. We think we have a good fix for our leak situation to install master valves at the 5 main irrigation valves so that the leaks won't be as prevalent. Those master valves can turn on when the Rainbird irrigation system calls for water, and we can still continue to water, or they start to water at a more aggressive rate while we're trying to locate and fix the leaks, because we're going to be locating and fixing leaks for a while into the future. But this will at least allow us to go back to operating the system the way it was. So that'll be good. And they're set to come back out this Friday. So they got a lot of work done last week. They will have a big project going this week. They were going to come out and try to do some things with the controllers only today, but then they'll come out and do some of the major works starting this Friday.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Has there been any discussion with the Cedar Ridge owners about maybe cutting back some of the green space that they have there? So that the irrigation system doesn't have to cover such a large area?
No, and the irrigation system doesn't really cover a large area. I mean, their green space primarily is in their yards. I don't think they're too worried about the easement area. But yeah, most of it's just front and side yard. We did find a few that were watering in the back. And we haven't even discussed whether or not we want to stop watering the backs. But for the most part, I think there were 2 out of the 44 that had backyard watering.
I was just visualizing that and saying if we're trying to do so many different leaks and stuff.
Yeah, I think that,
It's all, but they're not.
that seems to be the basis of it, that it's 30 years old or about.
Okay.
That's all I have. That's all I have.
Thank you. And then we'll turn it over to Eric for the financial report.
Okay, everybody kind of has their financials, and those that haven't been here many times or much, here I've kind of took the color for revenue, expenses, net income. We're going to stay on the left-hand side, middle column to start. That's kind of current month actuals for this month. And as we proceed down to the bottom line first, we'll see that within the month of July, we posted a positive net income of $123,811. That was $8,649 ahead of budget for the month. And then now if we just kind of stay in that same middle column and go up to the top, green block will be a total common area revenue. Where we found we posted common area revenue of $297,809. This was roughly $1,500 ahead of budget for the month, so without going into really any more detail, the revenue line items were all in line with budget expectations. If you move down to the red block just below that, we'll find total common area expenses came in at $275,118. This figure was $4,700 over budget for the month. When you look at the detail, which is really security, common area maintenance, administration, you can see that those departments were all in line or under budget. The one department where expenses exceeded budget was really the recreation department. And this was basically due to just some Q2 commissions on events, which makes sense if you kind of look over. Second line from the top, you can see activities and facility fees. And if you actually go over to the right-hand side middle column, you can see that where we posted $28,526 in activities and facility fees, which was about $11,670 better than same time last year. So it really makes sense with the Q2 commissions being done. If you move back over to the left-hand side, middle column there, common area net, highlighted by the yellow block, you can see that we posted net income of $22,772 for the month, which was about $3,000 off budget for the aforementioned reasons. Moving down to golf, next kind of block down, you can see that we recorded golf revenue of $289,172. This was marginally better than last year and off budget by roughly $8,300. Within the month of July, we did experience less pay-per-play rounds, which ultimately resulted in the revenue miss. However, even with the revenue miss, total expenses across both the pro shop and golf course maintenance were down a combined $20,530 for the month, which equated golf course net income coming in at $110,983, which was $12,000 better than budget. Moving down to townhome, or Cedar Ridge, as it's referred to, revenue expenses went as planned with a difference of basically $200 to the townhome net. So not much to get into there. And then finally, we arrived at food and beverage, where we recorded revenue of $113,553. The figure was roughly $8,800 below budget and $8,800 off the same month last year. Cost of goods came in at 34.3%, and then expenses came in at $73,059, which was only $300 above our budget figure. However, the miss in revenue here, while holding expenses in line, translated to a net loss of $6,547, which is about $6,000 off budget for the month. And then finally, on the summary income statement, if you go to the right-hand side middle column, look at the bottom line performance year-to-date as compared to budget. We do see that we have reported net income of $999, which is about $15,000 better than budget this far to the end of July at least. That's our first summary income statement. And we go flip over back balance sheet. We'll just kind of stay on that left-hand top side. Briefly look at cash. We ended the month of July with $1,415,540 in total cash. We saw an increase in cash from June of $152,651. When you compare it to the same month last year, we see an increase of $232,694. As Bill mentioned, we do have some expenses on the horizon in the form of capital expenditures with West Entry bridge repair, guard shack roof replacements, banquet hall roof, which is on the agenda of new business, and then the structural retaining wall of the pavilion. However, with our current cash position, we do look adequately prepared to take on these projects. So I'm sure they'll have for balance sheet.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks. Now for the ACC report, Johnny.
Good evening. I believe I saw in here first was the rules and regulation change, and I believe everybody got a copy of that Bill sent out. So I don't know if you had any questions or comments on that, but where it stemmed from was we had a vehicle that was parked in the yard. We sent them a violation letter, and they sent back and said it doesn't say no vehicle, it says no recreation vehicle in the motorhome. So the simple change of one word pretty much is what we thought we needed to add just to cover our basis was where that stemmed from.
Front yard, front driveway.
Right. So, don't know if there are any questions or anything on,
Did that get approved then by legal? Bill?
No.
Not yet.
so that's still pending to something. Okay, so, the last ACC meeting, we had several houses that, came off for final inspections. I think we had 3 of them, but we did approve a couple new houses in the meeting. So, we had a request to, replace an existing porch, just replacing it with identical materials. We had a couple landscape plans approved, for some existing homes that just wanted to update some landscaping. We had 1 request for the final landscape plan for lot number 2, which is on hole number 17. They presented their plan. Normally, with our guidelines, you have to have your final inspection. Your landscape plan has to be completed before you're allowed to move in. We are working with the homeowner because he has sold this house. And as long as he passes his final inspection, which we did the final today, I have about 6 items to take care of on the final inspection for the exterior, and that'll be complete. And as long as the landscaper has started, we'll let him go ahead and move in for Labor Day weekend is what he's trying to do. So if you see them moving in, we are trying to make an exception to accommodate with them. It is going to be a very large job. Their landscape plan that was submitted is pretty extensive. Greg's Landscape's doing the work. So it should be a great job once it's all completed. We did have a couple alterations to a couple new constructions. They want to change the exteriors. Both of those got approved. We do have a very odd request. Can't say I've ever had this request happen before, but 2 people switched houses in here, neighbors, and they want to switch their fences that they had at their old house to the new house. So we did approve them to switch their fences with their houses as well too. We have a builder application that we approved on a 1 build probationary period. So we're going to let him build the house that he presented on Beechwood under our probationary guidelines that we've been doing as long as he's got no issues, everything goes well in the build, and we move him over to the approved builder list. Another construction application for lot number 6, Row Art Branch, which is going down towards the maintenance shed on the right-hand side. That was submitted by S&J Builders, and that was approved as well too. So it'll be a new house that'll be started on Row Art Branch. And then we did have a violation letter for the laundry facility for the nightly rentals. They did come in and was at the ACC committee. They've been parking a box truck at that laundry facility and been using it as storage. We told them they could no longer do that. They have removed that. They've cleaned up all the debris and trash and stuff they had piled around that. And they're going to submit to us a set of plans to actually build onto the property where it now is a loading dock. We told them they needed to present us plans to make it look like the rest of the lodge and actually enclose that space for storage if that's what they need for their laundry facility and not have a box truck parked there. So they're supposed to be getting us plans for that. And then the last part was the parking standards that we all talked about. Construction checklist. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 new construction currently under. We had 3 that came off, and then we have 2 more that'll be coming back on.
Do you want questions?
Sure, I'd love questions. Go for it.
First up, on the fence being transferred, Lauren's house and Tom's house.
Yes.
So the retaining wall will stay there, they're just moving the fence?
Yep, retaining wall is going to stay there, and he's going to come off of the retaining wall there with his fence and come over to his yard and just continue to use the exact same fence over there, but leave everything else the same.
That's what I figured they were gonna do, but I just wanted to ask. He's out there trying to start some trencher the other day.
Yes.
Having difficulties with that. I just wanted, I'm sure you guys are aware of it, but the new construction on Silverwood that's overlooking number 11 in green, where they come in and they cleared off all the weeds and stuff that were there.
Yes.
That looks like that's gonna be really, really steep with a lot of drainage going to the golf course. So has there been a plan for that drainage?
I do not know. I know they met with Colby and John to start with, but I'll have to follow up on that just to make sure that I do it.
Because it does, it looks like the drainage is just, it's really a steep backyard.
Okay.
So I didn't know if they were gonna do some retaining walls to stop it and just some foliage.
Okay.
And then on the laundry facility, is that at number 1 Oak Lane? The building where you turn on Oak Lane and it's on the right?
No, it's at the very top at the back. I think it's number 8 or 8.
Larkspur. It's the only structure on Larkspur. At the very end. At the end.
Oh, at Fox Hall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was up at the Oak.
No, sorry.
Okay,
I was
sorry.
wrong. Yes.
Okay. So the fence. And I think that's it. Thank you.
The language that you was sent out here, is this the final language you wish to have the board look at, or do you want to take it back, go through one more time and bring it back next month?
I think the last one was okay. The last one that we had sent, I think that covered all bases, what we were trying to accomplish. I think so.
And I'll send that last one to the attorney because I hadn't sent it to him yet, because I was waiting on determination on which language to send. So,
So do we need to wait until we get that back from the attorney, or could we approve it based on the attorney's final?
you can do that.
Okay.
So if you're good with the board, considering it, we'll vote on it now.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to accept the new vehicle language as submitted by the ACC,
Subject to the attorney's final.
subject to the attorney's final determination?
So moved.
Second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The language will be changed.
Thank you. I do have one other thing I'll just make you aware of. We did send out 2 violation letters as well, in case they're brought up to the board, you know where we came from. We had one on Crossing Drives that we did fine them $550 for trailer parking. They've been sent numerous letters, so just so you're aware that if they appeal to the board, that was sent. The other one we sent was to another one in Mountain View Court. Again, we've sent them several letters for their yard, the maintenance, not responding, nothing's been done there, so we did send them a final notice. And then if it's not taken care of, we asked for Bill to send out the maintenance crew to take care of it, send them a bill as well with, they had several occurrences, so, they'd be, I think we figured probably $150 a day until they took care of all the issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a comment because I attended the ACC meeting last month, and Johnny does a really, really good job as far as chairing that committee. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Are you gonna mow the center?
Yes.
And the next door?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And now the golf committee report from Craig.
Okay, the biggest thing that we're working on right now in the golf committee is coming up with some more concrete finalized standards for golf carts acceptable to be used on the golf course. It's been kind of an issue that we've talked about for a couple of months. We drafted a policy, reviewed it at our last meeting on Thursday. And we had a motion to run it through legal to ensure that we were consistent and we weren't creating any obligations on the part of the POA. So Bill and I have kind of communicated that back and forth. He's put it in kind of a format that legal is used to dealing with. So Bill's gonna run that through legal. Once we hear back from it, we wanna get it back through the committee again to make sure that we didn't overlook anything. People have had more time to think about it. And then we'll present it to you guys for approval. And that's pretty much the biggest thing. We had a great member guest tournament this weekend, so great weather.
Good question. I noticed in the golf committee minutes, there was a statement made that the marshals are afraid to challenge members who do not have stickers on their golf carts.
They've not been directed to, by challenge, bring it up to them and say, hey, you need to get your sticker.
You need to
They
get out.
do that. They do that
You need to
today.
get out and get a club card
They haven't,
There's no charge of that.
yeah, Phil has not pushed that because for fear of confrontation with golfers, certain golfers.
I mean, we need stickers on the golf carts.
Right.
It's not, it shouldn't be a competition for the marshal. It's a rule.
It's a rule. I agree with you totally, Larry. Totally agree with you. I'm just kind of relaying what Phil's perspective is. They will tell them, you have to have a sticker. Most of the time, what I've heard back from Phil and the marshals, because I've talked to the marshals myself, is that they just haven't put the sticker on, or they weren't aware that they had to have it on. So Phil has got some language for them to tell them, he's got a little piece of paper for them to hand to them that tells them where exactly the sticker needs to be on the cart. It needs to be displayed. We've had cases where some folks had it in their glove box in their golf cart, and they put it on the spot. But I don't think they've had anybody that's been belligerent, but he's really not. Phil has said that he's not ready to go through and say, okay, you need to turn around and head back to the clubhouse and swap the card out. So.
Didn't Philip also say he hadn't, he told the marshals to provide names
Yes.
of those that said, oh, I didn't get it yet or whatever, and he hadn't received any names, so I think most of them were what you said.
Yeah, and I think there were a couple of folks that didn't have their stickers, and Phil reached out to them and said, hey, you need to get your stickers, and they've since done that. So people are pretty compliant, but there's always that one.
Well, I don't get the fight, you let it go.
Yeah. But it's a liability issue for the course, so, and that's the way it's been explained to a lot of people. It's a liability issue, you have to have
Sorry, Craig, I'm gonna
That's
ask
okay.
questions. Because I don't know what you guys talk about. Believe it or not, we don't talk about it. But anyway, I'm just really curious what the prior policy was as far as golf carts, before you guys started reviewing it now.
The
What
prior
policy was.
The prior policy was, and I'm gonna use my perspective.
Okay.
Bill can obviously disagree with me if he so chooses, but the policy was pretty loose. It wasn't really incredibly specific. We did have specifics in there, like things relating to the mechanical function of the cart, whether it was serviceable or in good working order, the size of the tires, the type of tires, the number of seats. That's kind of where we left it. Now, since we've had a lot of new entrants into the golf cart manufacturing market, we've seen new manufacturers show up with people that purchased them, they've showed up. We've done a lot of research as it relates to golf carts versus low-speed vehicles versus ATVs. How are they treated legally? What are the implications of those? Because we found one interesting item related to Missouri statute. And Missouri statute specifically points out golf carts, maximum speed of 19 miles per hour. Anything that's over 19 miles per hour in any operational mode is considered a low-speed vehicle. Low-speed vehicles have to have different safety equipment on them than golf carts because they can traverse roads. And so that's very specific. The National Highway Transportation Safety Board also has restrictions on low-speed vehicles, golf carts, oddly enough, and then you have the ATV world. And then we've done research on the manufacturers, and the manufacturers have developed a standard for golf carts with a maximum speed of 19 miles an hour. So given our terrain here, speed is a very big issue. Terrain on the golf course and terrain getting to the golf course in a lot of cases. So that's where we've done a lot of research on and tried to identify what are the implications of that. So.
And I'm just really curious because history that I have, I know what we used to always say was, and it was very specific, and I just didn't realize that it had changed so much over the years. And it still amazes me just in the back of my mind that somebody goes and buys a golf cart without knowing what the criteria is, and then they bring it to us after the fact, as if, well, you really can't deny me because I've already purchased this golf cart.
Yeah, it would be great if we had a process whereby, a person buys their house and
Yeah.
they get a whole list of these, like, here's the 10 common things that people do wrong that get them in trouble. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And if you want to purchase a golf cart in the community, here's the golf cart policy.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
That's what I'm hopeful
That would be
that this is going to be.
That's one of the things that we've talked about internally as a group, that type of process. The other type of process is, okay, now that we have this policy, how do we document that this particular golf cart meets the specifications? And then how does that go back into the POA and Eric's group when they're issuing stickers? How do we tie that together so that we know that this person has indeed had their golf cart looked at, it's been formally approved? Right now, I think Eric pretty much goes by what he's told by, Phil and the person that comes in and say, hey, I need my sticker, here's my insurance card.
Yeah.
So it'd be great to nail that down even tighter. And ideally, if you could tie it back to a serial number of a golf cart, then that would keep somebody from going out and buying a new golf cart, pulling a sticker off of one and sticking it on the other, and I'm good.
Because that was the other part that I was thinking about, was whenever people go and trade, and yet they don't come down and do anything, and bringing up the marshals and the sticker and all that.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I guess the other thing that I go back to, and I've already addressed this with the board members, is the fact that, we do have the limitation of 2 carts per 4 golfers. And I just have a big issue that if I have to ride with somebody in a different type of cart that I don't feel safe in, should I have to do that?
Well, theoretically, there shouldn't be any cart that you don't feel safe in. Theoretically.
Yes.
And however, we've had a lot of, and COVID kind of prompted this, where we had people that didn't want to ride with another person for fear of getting COVID and things like that. And I think Phil and his team have been very aware and cognizant of the fact that if somebody brings an attention to them, they're willing to say, okay, here, you can do this. So I think if there's a situation where, it's either the driver or the car or whatever the case may be, you should have that right to say, wait a minute, I'm not comfortable. And Phil and his guys, I think, have been very accommodating in that respect.
And is there, I'm asking Will probably this question more than anybody, but do we have a procedure that if the rules change, is there a way that if next year, whenever the annual memberships come up or the inspection time comes up, do we have any recourse with the carts that don't meet the new criteria?
That's the main thing that we're trying to iron out after we've got everything set to go to the attorney, is how do we deal with the carts that have already been approved that might not fit the mold next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there were a couple of things thrown out at the last meeting of, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's the other. We still have more work to do there, but, to Bill's point, we wanted to make sure that we weren't creating any undue liability or undue process on the people that have to go through and evaluate this.
So I have a question to Bill. We did a moratorium last month at this meeting for a 30-day hold. What do we need to do for the next 30 days?
Oh, is it just a 30-day moratorium?
That's what I remember.
Oh,
I think Phil's under the impression that it's until he gets.
If it wasn't 30 days, if we used a moratorium. And which, when you're finished, I want to address that because I have an issue.
Okay. So
yeah.
do we know if it's a 30?
I think that the moratorium wouldn't exist if somebody already had their card approved and they need to get a 2020 an updated sticker for this year, next year, if their card's already been approved and they've got their insurance. Phil's erring on the side of caution.
Okay, so according to the minutes, it says the moratorium has been placed on all new golf cart approvals until an updated policy is finalized.
So I think they're-
Yeah, there wasn't a time limit.
Well, what I'm gonna address doesn't involve Greg necessarily, yeah, so you don't have, so you don't have to stand there and you want to. I want to address it.
Okay.
With the board. Okay. When we passed the moratorium on golf carts, I knew I was getting a new golf cart on its way in, but I did not switch cars. I had a Yamaha. But I didn't oppose it because I thought there was going to be a quick resolution to the new rules. I knew the golf committee was meeting before the Labor Day tournament, and I thought, well, it'd be a fairly quick resolution, but obviously that hasn't happened. And now it's been turned over to an attorney, and now it's like, okay, maybe a 30-day moratorium not long enough. It might be 60, it might be 90 days, who knows? And I'm sure that the attorney is probably not someone who specializes in golf cart rules. So he'll have to go somewhere and get some opinions from the national, and maybe they're gonna give him some opinions from what they know from their country clubs in these cities. But irregardless, I'm sitting here with a golf cart that I can't use. I can drive it down to the course, I can park it, and then transfer everything over to another, one of our club cars. And I did that for 2 days with my son, transferring everything. That's quite a chore. And doing it when we get here, doing it when we finish, doing it the next day, the same thing over and over. And now I'm looking at having to maybe do that for another 30, 60 days, who knows? And I can tell you this, the cart that I have, it looks just like any other car, except it has more safety features. It has a 4-wheel disc brakes. It runs 9 to 10 miles an hour on the golf course. It had brakes going downhill, so you don't have your runway golf carts like we have some out there now. Mine was a runway golf cart, the Yamaha. If you didn't brake it, it took off downhill. This one has braking features going downhill. When you get out of the car, it has an automatic braking feature. If you fall out because you've been drinking too much, it automatically stops as well. And I haven't practiced that, I don't drink anymore, but anyway, it looks just like any other golf course out there. It just wasn't made for anything other than golf. And so I just don't think I want to go through this for another 30, 60 days, but if the board so chooses, I guess I will. Because I knew what the rules were, and I've had probably 100 people, maybe more, say, well, this is ridiculous, why don't you just go ahead and use your cart? I'm like, I'm not going to, I'm not gonna break the rules. There's a moratorium, and I know what it is. But tonight, I'd like to make a resolution, and you can do with it what you want.
Can I say something, Larry?
Yes.
Does your Evo cart is it a single speed model or does it have the selector switch?
It's got a selector switch, it runs
That's
19
part of
miles
the
an
problem.
hour, runs 19 miles an hour coming down.
Did you have the dealer specifically customize it to 19 miles an hour?
No, I suppose they knew what the law was.
Well, what we know from people that have Evos is the maximum speed on that selector switch for the high speed mode is 24 miles an hour.
Mine's 19. You go out and run.
That's for the low speed mode.
No, low speed is 9 to 10.
Then you had to have them customized.
No, I did not. That is the way it came.
Okay, well, we talked to the dealer, and what the dealer told us, and one of the other people that has one of those same models, a couple of years younger, is that the dealer sets it low speed mode, 19 miles an hour, high speed mode up to 24 unless he's told.
Well, I've got a defective car. Because it runs 9 to 10 in low speed and 19 in high speed. I've run it down here probably a dozen times now, or at least 10 times. And I run it in low speed once I get down here to see what it will do, and that's what it does. And I was okay with that. Getting over 19 seemed a little fast anyway. Anyway, I want to make a resolution, then you can do what you want with it. I hope I get a second and approval. But I move that the board of directors temporarily waive the moratorium on new golf carts and allow the golf pro to determine if the new cart meets the Ledgestone requirements under the existing procedures. If the new golf cart does not meet the requirements under the new procedures, if and when the new policy and procedures are adopted by the board of directors, the owner of the cart will then be so notified at that time. So that's the resolution temporarily waiving the moratorium with the idea that if the cart does not meet the requirements of the new guidelines, then the owner will be notified and he will be allowed to use it. I'm well aware of that, but this, I see no reason this cart would never be, it's safer than our club cars out here. And I'm hearing from Craig that the big issue is, am I gonna let it 25 miles an hour on the golf course? And they wanted to go 25, it will go over 19.
How did you come up with that speed?
I didn't, I drove it. I drove it.
How do you tell the speed?
It's got a speedometer on it. It's got a speedometer on it. And, so you can see what you're running. Unless the speedometer is effective. Which I would think would be a better.
Are those carts modifiable by the dealer then?
Yes,
He can cut the speed.
even the club cars, Yamahas, E-Z-Go, they all have, the dealers all have the ability to modify the mode that they drive in. And the new 2026 club cars, that's user customizable, but the maximum speed is set at 19. Can't go any higher, regardless of what mode you
Ours
put it
are
in.
all out here.
Yours are, the club cars are set lower. They're set at 2 different speeds. When they're geo-fenced near the building, they drop to 8 miles an hour. And when they're out on the course, they max out at 12.
Except going downhill.
Except going downhill, then they do the regenerative braking. So they've got that throttled, and that's all GPS controlled with the club car.
So
Read it again, please.
what I'm looking for is a second to my resolution.
Larry, would you read it again, please?
I move that the board of directors temporarily waive the moratorium on the new golf carts and allow the golf pro to determine if the new cart meets the Ledgestone requirements under existing procedures. If the new cart does not meet the requirements under the new procedures proposed, and if and when the new procedures are adopted by the board of directors, the owner will be so notified at that time.
You can't use this cart.
Can't use the cart, have to sell it, I guess,
Or have it modified to meet the new requirements.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that I would add on there.
Or to be modified to meet the new requirements.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further
Discussion, yes. Discussion,
Would that
Larry,
say this for me?
discussion, Larry, whenever you say the current policy or the current criteria for golf carts, and to be approved by the staff that's approved the ones that we're having an issue with, I'm not willing to open the door and lift the moratorium to let him continue to approve carts that should not be used on this golf course.
So are you thinking that he's doing a very poor job?
Yes, I do.
I don't have any rebuttal to that, it's just, he's been approving them for years.
But he's changed,
Yours may go,
he's changed the criteria on what he's approved.
what about the others? We don't know what the others are.
What others? You mean the ones that you already have, or the new ones that might be?
The new ones that have been purchased already.
Well, yeah, but they're already approved.
But it doesn't mean that other new ones are going to come in and he's going to, it doesn't mean that other people aren't going to go buy the same ones that we're having a concern about and have them on the golf course.
Okay.
So if you lift the moratorium, you're lifting it for everybody.
That's fine, I'm not just with you, but it didn't say for me.
I know,
Yeah.
but
So, my thing is,
but the resolution lists it where the same policy that's been followed for the last 6 months or whatever will continue to be followed.
Well, would you?
I would rather wait for the golf committee's recommendation to be approved by the attorney, and it's not gonna take him months, because he doesn't wait months to give us resolution. Bill, what do you think the time frame is?
I have no clue, but I can put a rush on it. I don't know if it'll be before Labor Day, and that's what you're shooting for, right?
No, it won't be, you're looking at another month at least, maybe two. Well, then, all right, I would suggest then that Craig Mueller would, approve the cards in the golf committee. If they're not satisfied, well, you say no, but you're not happy with Phil approving cards, so who's gonna approve them?
It needs to be staff, but it does not need to be
So
committee members.
I suggest Bill approve them then, he's staff.
I don't, as long as it's staff, but I just want to have a strict policy.
We have one now, but you're not satisfied with the way it's being handled.
Well, because look at the parts that we have the issue with. We
You-
probably have.
Do you have an
8
issue
parts.
with how many, one or two, or what?
Yeah, probably 8 that have been approved in the last 3 months.
And you know the specific issue with each one?
All you have to do is look at them.
Well, I looked at
The
one,
tires aren't the right size.
There's
the
two like
elevator,
that.
The center of gravity's wrong. They're not safe on our golf course because they go too fast.
but if you go look at my card, it looks nothing like those.
But that's not the point. The point is, you knew we had a moratorium, why didn't you wait to get your new car until after we got?
Well, I don't know, Lenore, I had a card on order, when it came in, I bought it. That's just the way it is, you know?
Yeah, so that's what I've been down here using.
And I'm asking, I'm reasonably asking for a motion, and I don't wanna get into a conversation about you should have done this, you should have done that.
That's fine.
If we wanna get to that point, I suggest Bill look at it and approve it, if we approve this resolution.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anything further? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Sounds like the two ayes were louder.
The motion is defeated.
What was the count? You didn't vote, did you vote? Were you gonna vote?
Did you ask for abstentions?
I want to stay.
So they would be in the minutes.
Okay. Moving on to the old business, there was a matter of the update for the security light requested at Forest Lake and Black Forest Lane.
We're still just getting the feasibility on trenching, because now we know we have to go on the east side. So we'll have to trench 2.5 feet, minimum of 2.5 feet to get
Down
to
to
the corner.
approximately, what, 150 feet?
Yeah, something like that. I think that was the closest. It was maybe somewhere around 100. There's 2 different options on that east side.
Okay. So we'll wait to hear about that one. And also, this is the time for the recap for the 90-day yoga trial.
I feel like we all need to have a big, deep breath.
Where's the music, Kelly?
I'm sure. Well, I'm happy to report some good news that, yeah, we have had a great turnout on Mondays. I always knew there were people that did not want to get up at 8:30 for yoga in the morning. They just weren't morning people. So we have a whole new group that are coming on Mondays at 4:15. And we've kind of drawn from the card ladies. Vicky's been coming, Vicky, because they see me set up, and then they've been setting for like 6 hours. So I think more will follow Vicky. But it's been a changing group, and we're trying to be real flexible, that it's both chair and floor, and it's just really working well. And they're all very receptive, they're all right here and support. So we've had more people on Mondays than probably Thursday and Friday. But it's a changing face, and there's new faces, and some of the regulars are also coming on Monday. So the good news is some people are getting 3 days a week workout.
What is the average attendance on your Mondays?
We've gone from 12 to 2. When the heat got really, really bad, I definitely noticed all classes fell off because people with the heat advisory just didn't feel like doing anything. But it picks back up with the ebb and flow of our residents, whether they're in house or not. Like Lori and Mark came back and surprised us today. They're normally not here. So then we had 2 new people. So there's kind of no rhyme or reason to it. I wish I could figure it out. Yeah, Jeff and Nina, when the weather's good, they go to the lake, but they thought it was gonna rain today, so they were back. So we have, you know, a lot more, but I think in the winter, we'll have even more. Because a lot of our residents that stay and don't go south or to warmer weather, they want something to do.
That's good news.
Okay.
Thanks, Kelly.
Do you need us to do anything, Bill?
No, just so there's the 90-day trial, so I think everything's going good.
Looking forward to the, fall and into the winter, keeping this going will not impact anything on our end, correct?
It won't, assuming, depending on what time we close the restaurant, but other than that, I mean, it shouldn't have any effect, even if the restaurant was closed, open, it wouldn't have. So, yeah, we didn't.
We mainly use the side door.
Yeah. Same door for the workout room, right?
Hey, Bill, I don't know if I need it. I was making some notes here and didn't hear what you said about the security light on Black Forest. Forest Lane and Black Forest Lane, what did you say?
We're trying to get the feasibility of digging a 2.5-foot trench from the transformer to the east corner to one of the 2 east corners. We've got John, our in-house maintenance supervisor, looking at it, and also have one of the builders who's building a home out there looking at that as well.
Which corner is that on?
It'd be across the street from where you would come from, not on your side. So if you're going, if you're gonna make a left to go to your house off of Forest Lake Drive, it would be on the right side.
So it's on the northeast?
Yeah.
Northeast corner, so you're gonna have to go down east to get to the transformer.
East or north.
East
Right.
or north?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Well, we weren't sure, when you weren't here this last meeting, when Robert brought it up, and we weren't sure which corner we were talking about.
Robert caught us when we were out there and we kind of explained to him what we were looking at because we really thought that big green box was a transformer. But that's the only side there's not a transformer is the corner where we were looking at putting it, where we thought the transformer was. It's not a transformer.
So you have to go north or east?
Yep.
To get something, okay.
Going back to the question of yoga, it seems to be working out well for you and your attendees, not impacting anything that's going on here. Is there a motion to make Monday afternoon yoga class permanent now that the 90 days has passed? Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Having none, all in favor of making the Monday yoga permanent?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
We love you.
You love yoga.
Congratulations. Now to the new business is the re-roofing of the banquet center, and Bill has some information about that as far as.
I do. Basically, you guys, I'll have the details. The recommendation from the finance committee was to re-roof the banquet center with asphalt. So the proposal was either it's the stump and the steel that's going on to the guard shacks and the covered bridge, for asphalt, and the asphalt was approximately a third of the cost, and maybe a little bit less than that. And, you know, the asphalt's warranty for 5 years, stone coated steel was 20. But yeah, the recommendation of finance committee was to move forward with asphalt. So we just need a decision there.
Do we have a motion as to the use of asphalt shingles to redo the restaurant or the facility?
So moved.
And there's a motion, we have a second.
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We do it with the asphalt. Now we come to the open forum, anyone that have, we might finish the. Come up to the microphone, state your name, and let us know what's on your mind.
What did we post?
For everything, please.
I'm number one. Two can get behind. Larry Tunde, 829 Forest Lake. I just want to say a word about this card issue. I'm a little concerned. I mean, rules are rules, and I get that. We all have cars. Almost any of them will go over 100 miles an hour. But we're not allowed to. I think our biggest speed limit is 35 miles per hour in the village. But we still have the ability to go that fast. Because a cart has the ability to go that fast, why don't we just set a speed limit for carts? No more than this on the course, or no more than this on the roads that everybody can abide by. But refusing carts because they can go fast seems to be a little strong-handed, in my opinion. So that's all comments I have. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'd like to respond to that, if I could. I understand what you're saying, and one of the reasons that we looked at that was not so much the individual driver, but we do a lot of shifting around of people in carts with all the various different golf carts. And when you get into one of the club carts, or a cart that's manufactured by someone who has one of the club type carts, Club Car, Easy Go, Yamaha, they all have specific, very unique characteristics. So if you have somebody that's riding with you and you go off to one side of the fairway for your ball, and you say, hey, bring the cart over here, and you've not flipped that switch back to low speed, that person steps on that accelerator and it's going 24 miles an hour or higher, depending on where that's been set. You've got somebody up in the woods or down in a creek that's very seriously injured because they're not used to driving that golf cart.
Well, I guess my point would be mandate that they keep it on the low speed while at the golf course, period.
And since that's user changeable by a little switch.
They could cheat.
Yeah, exactly,
But I could
exactly.
cheat on the roads too.
And the roads aren't the issue.
Yeah.
The roads are a completely different issue than what we're trying to address here.
I mean, there could be.
There's other liabilities associated with the road. And what we don't want to do is we get enough suits for people flipping carts over. And if member guest, just this past weekend, there was a white cart in front of me going through the chicane through the 11 to get through the tee box to head up the hill that was on 2 wheels. And they almost flipped it. It was almost flipped. They caught it in time and it slammed back down on all 4 wheels. And they had to stop for a minute to catch their senses back. And then they went around the corner and just flew up the hill. I can guarantee you that cart was not set to low speed. Guaranteed. So what are we gonna do if we let somebody do that on the course and that happens? Yeah. We had to fish somebody out of the creek a couple weeks ago in one of the club carts. So, and those are controllable. So the last thing that we want to do is to see that happen. And that's somebody's livelihood, somebody's life, and that's a lawsuit. And that's what we're trying to avoid.
I'd like to say something too, Larry. So we are where we're at today with carts that are on our course that can go faster than 19 miles an hour. The concern is, what's the next step? At some point, you've got to set some guidelines and you've got to stick to them. And you've got to do it based on safety concerns, risk concerns.
And I totally agree with that.
And I think that's really where the golf committee came to this, is that where does it stop? You know, because it won't. I mean, and that's why.
The lithium carts have been way faster than gas carts for a long time.
Yes.
They're quick. And I think there's some that have been here for 10 years that can really fly like that. And I get it that, you know, you shouldn't be speeding here. But the dictate that a car could or could not is where.
You want to step back up to the mic?
I'm done.
Okay.
Next.
Okay, anything else?
Do we not have a number 2 at the open mic?
I'm Michael Dodge. My question is, on these golf carts that are utilized on our streets, what is the minimum age limit on a driver? And are we liable for anyone who's permitting a child to drive one of these on our streets?
16, it's 16 on a golf cart, 16 on a low, vehicle, 16 on a car.
I was stopped at the four-way stop on Silver Ado, and a parent, and it was obviously a child under teenage age, went driving by. She was the passenger and her son was doing the driving. How do we get that word out that this is illegal? And if we don't, are we liable for anything if there's an accident of any kind?
I don't see how we're liable on the street. We can always be sued. I don't see how we're liable there. We're liable on the golf course because we're going through the motion there, registering the carts.
Are we seeing an increase are there younger families coming in here and purchasing not a golf cart to play on the course, but these poor passengers?
Yeah, I've seen those.
Because I've seen those.
Yeah.
Is this an increase? And how do
I
we?
don't know if it's an increase, but it happens.
I mean, it can happen anywhere. You can't stop somebody from buying a cart.
Oh, I know that, but how do we, as a,
And as to whether we'd be liable for a minor driving a car, you know, I would think that absent negligence on our part that contributed or caused an accident, no, we would not be liable.
okay. Got a question about our consultant. What is our contract and how long is this person remaining here? And if is he a full-time employee now because he's moving furniture, he's sweeping floors, he's busting dishes, he's doing, what is the limit on this?
We talked about in great detail at the last executive session board meeting, and he's gonna be here for a while. Now, one thing he's trying to do is incorporate, what being a working manager should be like. And we should be able to see some of our management moving forward doing those sort of things in his absence.
What was the reason, the original reason to bring him in here? He's been in here for what, 8, 9, 10 months now? Is it a full-time job?
No,
Well,
but he's gonna be here for a while longer.
I'm sorry, I don't. And how do we pay for him?
And we're paying for him, we're paying him.
Is that made on an assessment?
No.
Look at the financials.
Okay. I'm just curious. When I working out and I see at 8 o'clock in the morning, he's moving furniture around the pool. How does that consultant have for food service and bringing our grill up to where we're competitive with everybody? How does his moving furniture around the pool?
I cannot elaborate on that, but I bet you he could. I'm just thinking. I know that we have increased with him being here. We've increased our pool sales and we've increased our golf sales to the point where we have open space in the restaurant floor for our residents, and it's not as overcrowded as it was. We're still making those dollars. We're making up those dollars in pool sales and restaurant sales. Now, does the flow affect how food sales go out on the pool deck? I don't know. Maybe. If he's moving pool furniture, I would think so.
Well, as a customer in the grill, whether it's karaoke and or after our group plays golf, after 8 or 9 months of dealing with the staff and training, why do we still have to ask a waiter for a straw when you order a drink? I haven't seen a definite increase in quality. I'm sorry. And those I talk with or listen to say the same thing. We haven't seen it. And after 8 or 9 or 10 months, I'm sorry. Are we getting our money's worth?
What do you don't like?
Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Gene Fritz. I'm at 1105 Litchfield Lane. You knew my aunt, Ruth Donnelly. God rest her soul. We moved here 3 years ago. The main concern that we have is East Gate. Recently, it's been left up. They're saying parts have been ordered and it's been a week before they fix it. And that is a concern for us and our security. And when we called, we got kind of like, you gotta get with Bill or Lenore and try and figure out a resolution. It's like, and that's from the gate, from the west gate. It's like, they don't have security on hand to go over there to fix it. If they do, and it's a part issue, they can rob from Peter or Big Paul from the front gate and fix it to where nobody comes in straight away from outdoors into our community and allegedly rob or whatever, because it's open 24 hours a day. And that's our concern. We pay membership, and that pays to keep that gate closed. And we're getting tired of people coming up with the passes, and they expect the homeowner to drive behind them to open up the gate so they can get there. And we've even had where a worker was sitting off to the side, and we called the gate and they said, yeah, we see them in the camera. And they don't send everybody over there to tell them they gotta go around. And the next time we go through, there's a broken gate on the floor. So they ran it. We need to do something about our security. Need to do now.
And so the gate is operational right now.
right now.
So this was a
But
couple
when
weeks
it comes
ago.
to a concern, you need to fix it immediately
Okay, so
and not wait a week.
okay, this is where we're limited. So we've got, our guards who don't leave their post, right? When the gates get broken, we do fix those within, how long do you think it takes for us to get those? It's usually the same day. Now, the instance that I think he's referencing is the hardware failure that we had. And we had a way around it if you guys want to go this route. If we get in this situation again where we have a hardware failure, we can power it down and use the old metal gates. The old metal gates have the same issue that they allow people just to piggyback in until, the end of the day. But at least you'll have a slow moving open and closing gate. But the only thing I know about with the east gate, where it suffered more than a day, and usually it's within hours of getting repaired, because we do have procedures in place. We do have guards and staff that can go up and fix them. If we have to wait till the roaming guard gets in, we may have to wait till the roaming guard gets in. If it's before 3, it's great because we have maintenance staff here that can swap them out quick. I know Eric's been out there and done it a couple times. I've done it a couple times. It's not hard to do, but when you have a hardware failure, you have to wait for the hardware to come in.
The most recent hardware failure was a lightning strike at the end of May, and it took out a POE switch, a modem, an RS-232 module, which actually communicates and reads gate devices. It says, hey, you have access. It took out a control board along the exit, and it also fried a board along the entrance. Because there was 2 different boards, another module, and a modem, which gives us communication ability. So that one did take a while to isolate everything that was down, because as soon as we would get a part in and put it operational, then you would find the next piece of the puzzle almost, because it's interlinked. They have 3 or 4 different boards, quite honestly. And we had our gate company bring it out. The most recent example, I would say, where we had an east gate malfunction or failure, and it stayed up over the weekend, because we had a service call in. It happened on Friday afternoon. We couldn't get anybody to come here until Monday. It was fixed by Monday by 11 a.m. So it was up over the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, I should say. And we have 2 different gate companies that we can actually work with outside of our security, which would be Brink Security and Federal Protection. There's not a whole lot of companies that work on gates, at least in a timely fashion, around here, but we do try our best with that. And when you talk to these people that work on gates, it's not if they're gonna fail, it's just when they are. It's mechanical and electrical. We're gonna get just as well. I mean, last time Federal was here, there's different service intervals that you do, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Our gates are a whole lot busier than a lot of developments, I would say. They get a lot of use, whether it's only the member entrance side or whether it's the main entrance up here. But they're a challenge at times, but we're not trying to compromise security in any means.
So when it comes to the fact that the one company cannot facilitate repair, you should go to the second one and get it repaired, because of the concern for the community and not for the cost.
It's whenever it is a fix on that, expedite shipping, whatever it might be, to get the part here as quick as possible. If we don't have the part on hand already.
No, I'm talking about the repair company. If you don't have the part, they got to order it and what have you, go to the next one and say, do you have the part? Get it in. Get it fixed. Don't wait.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what we do, is we do have 2 different cards we can pull with that.
And pull. Because it wasn't pulled that weekend. And we weren't that susceptible to any kind of items.
It was pulled out.
No,
It was out.
it was
You
open.
couldn't go in and
Oh,
out.
did I know, but
And
we
then
had that car.
I called both security companies on the weekend that it did have an issue on Friday. And the closest thing that I could get pulling both cards was Monday. Didn't even know the time, but Monday he was gonna try to fit it in, because they were gonna be down in the area. And that was the quickest response that I could get out of both companies that operate or work on gates, at least within this area.
And then maybe you should have a third company. So that's,
Can we close the gate?
I can try to search.
Close
Yeah,
the
you
gate.
could close the gate and have all
Yeah.
the community members go around.
Well, we can do that,
For
but
Texas,
we would need a lot more room to do.
That's the other option.
Can't you switch to the metal gates?
We can switch to no gates. We still probably would have need a lot more room today because there's a reason we moved away from the metal gates. But we could have switched to the metal gates. We talked about it.
They're slow, piggybacking, talking, there's not doing.
No, but I mean, if we would have done it, I think there would have been more people upset than there.
Well, you know, protection is better than violence or whatever the case may be. In other words, people coming in at will and everything.
They could still come in at will with the metal gates.
Thank you for your input.
I had a refrigerator break down on Sunday. I still can't get the guy here tomorrow. I called 6 different people.
And it costs 7.
Anyone else?
Russ Smith. While on the Eastgate there, is there any way we can get Google Maps to redirect people to the correct day? It's been 4 years, we've never, I'm so tired of being jammed up there. That's all I got.
Google Maps to us will work if they use the gate, the front gate.
Yeah, but if I use my address, it sends me to the East Gate and then they're jammed up.
We can't do it for everybody here. That's a rough problem.
Can I speak to that though?
Yeah.
And Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, when we, changed the, different, not only Google Maps, but when we changed the other companies, I forget who they were, Google Maps was the one that would not change. We did change, I think, 2 or 3 other.
Apple
We
Maps.
got Garmin, we got Google Maps.
We did get those changed, but Google just won't change it.
Have we asked them again?
We haven't asked them recently. The last response was we needed to get the owners to go in, or the individuals to go in and label that as not a through street or a private road. And we have to have the property owners or the residents or even the customers, people engaged in nightly rental, whatever. They have to physically go in and do it.
Right.
Because they're using your address.
Yeah, so we tried, and, we can ask again, but we'll probably get the same answer if I have to guess.
So we got it through with Google Business. We even got to try to get the center involved to get something to do there.
And I know the gentleman left who spoke, I didn't catch his name.
He's still in the hall.
Okay, but as far as people sitting at the gate wanting you to let them in, please don't do that. I get out of my car, I go up to their window, and I tell them they need to back up and they need to go 2 or a mile and a half down the road. I never let anybody in that's not a homeowner.
And I would like to add a comment to that as well. I mean, security is a big thing for me. I'm actually the lead of our security team at church. So security is a huge issue for me. And, the gates have always been a problem. But I mean, we try our best. And like Bill said, if we close that gate down and not let anybody through for a weekend, this room probably wouldn't hold all the people that would be fussing that they could get through that gate. And we've tried the metal gates, and that lets about 4 or 5 cars through. So what have we really accomplished with that as well? So, I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of the state we live in. We're at the mercy of some suppliers. I mean, it's just like you go to buy anything, and anything that's got a chip or a circuit board on it, you're probably gonna wait for a very long time. Unfortunately, this is where the state we're living in.
Is there any ramifications for people that tailgate? Because I mean, I've gone like really slow and they still get through, and I know that they aren't members.
With this gate, with the wood gate, they couldn't get through behind you?
Yeah,
Where?
when they piggyback,
At the east gate?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't think it'd let only one car.
Well, it's not supposed to, but
It closes on a lot of vehicles.
It houses on a lot of vehicles too.
What I do is I come through the gate and then I stop and let the gate come down, where there's not room for them to come through.
That's what I can.
It's $250 charge to, when they break the gate, we can usually get there within hours to fix
I was just, okay.
it. And
Yeah.
usually it's the property owner that has to suffer through that.
Good afternoon. I was just wondering, Bill, a couple months ago, the consultant's report was gonna come out. Did it ever come out? I don't recall.
It's on the website, and we have copies at the Welcome Center that you can come review during normal operating.
I mean, there's a lot of people who are still concerned that he is still here. And I was told today that he was told basically to stay upstairs and not come downstairs and bus tables or whatever. I don't know, I just, somebody told me that. And we didn't see him downstairs, he stayed upstairs. But it just seems like we've not seen hardly any changes since he's been here. And it just seems like we should know exactly what we're paying for, and we just don't see much of anything.
We do see what
Well, you do, but we're also paying for him too. And we don't, a lot of us don't see it.
The report will help.
I would encourage everybody to read the report. It is a very detailed report, and obviously there was some employee information that had to be redacted. But for the majority of the report is out. I would encourage everybody to read that report. You would be surprised of what has been accomplished.
Okay.
You can sign on your member portal and access.
Oh, yeah, I know that, but actually seeing anything that's changed, we don't see very much.
Oh, but the reports have it though.
Okay, that's one good thing. I'm glad to hear that. Go home and read it.
Bill, I can do the kitchen. I can about to the kitchen. Do the kitchen.
If you say so, okay, but I mean, it just seems like a lot of money to spend for what's been done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Diane Hobbs, and I live on Cedar Ridge Way. And I just wanted to ask a question. We were talking about the gates and security and everything. When there is an issue like that on the weekend, do we have the security staffing available that they could come in and man the east gate while there's a problem? We don't have that kind of staffing. Is that something we would consider in the future?
It has been tried in the past. I've been here for 10 years now, and we had a guards man that, and the cost was astronomical.
Okay, I don't mean all the time, but if a gate is broke and we know it's gonna be out all weekend, do we have enough staff that we can call in security and say, hey, we got an issue this weekend, can you guys come and
We
work
don't,
this gate?
but administrative staff should come in. I could come in. I know other people that would come in, but I don't know, the gentleman left, he may still be in the hallway. I don't know that it's been open for weeks. I mean, the longest period it was open that I know of is the Friday it went down, it was open all weekend, second weekend in August, maybe the first weekend in August. And yeah, that was a stressful time. It was open for 2 days.
Yeah, I don't know
Two and a half.
how long it was open, but if it was on the weekend and was a couple days, maybe that would be a case where we would call in, employees and say, this is, not the norm, but can you help us out right now? And that might give people a little peace of mind.
I didn't know how you would stop a car from coming in.
Well, you
If
wouldn't.
there's no gate there.
So you just talk about peace of mind for the
I
residents.
understand that.
Isn't it manual?
No,
Oh, there's no manual gate.
no. So I understand, so there's staff there, somebody pulls up, there's no gate to stop them from driving through. I mean, you're not gonna be able to stop cars from driving through, just because there's somebody there.
But it would give them peace of mind, some more, some maybe.
Yeah, no, I thought maybe if it wasn't working manually, that there was a way, or, to do it manually.
They're building money, might be a suggestion that if it is gonna be a couple of days, we go ahead and use the metal gate, because, you know, how many people are actually gonna try it if they see it, they come in, it's closed, they're not gonna go through unless they just happen to be behind them. And during the middle of the night, there's not gonna be that many hunters coming through, I would think.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, no, it's work.
even with the other,
Metal gates.
No work.
Okay, well, that's what I had. Thank you.
Anyone else? Now, remind everybody that on September the 8th, the new owners social out on the patio at 5 p.m. Sign up on the member portal. If you know someone that's just moved in and your neighbor, you know, brought them to come down. It's a pizza party, yes.
And that's one of the improvements that was made, the kitchen, pizza.
pizza. Yeah, pizza, September 8th.
The next meeting
Reading
will
John's
be
report, Mike.
the 2nd of September, at the same time, 5:30. And anything further?
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
I never asked that question.
Yeah, you.
Because we were on the entrance side, we just wanted to yeah, it's very,
Hey, guys, you heard it?